Hey YouTubers, Rob here with a quick little talk and play of the Commodore 64 conversion of Salamander. This is a conversion of the 1986 Konami arcade game, which is a sort of sequel, sort of spin-off to the Gradius Nemesis series of shooters. Takes advantage of those games and takes a few things in its own direction. I actually kind of prefer it over Gradius Nemesis. And this Commodore 64 conversion is very cracking. Even coming when it did in '88 is sort of that time where you're moving towards the 16 bits, getting the focus of conversions of arcade classics. The team who did this Commodore 64 version did a very great job. And let's just hit it up and play. I am using a disk image with device emulator, so this is actually going to be loading at realistic speeds, but the loads don't feel too bad, so hopefully it's not too much of a problem. Let's do it. So to our first level, we have similar style opening Gradius where you're collecting your power-ups. Now, unlike the Gradius games, you don't have to collect the individual upgrade tokens. Instead, you're actually getting the abilities directly. So in this case, I've just picked up the another option as well as upgrading the missiles for three-way fire. So this conversion, you can see it's actually pretty smooth, looks great. Music's quite nice as well. It does have a few things lacking. Salamander introduced simultaneous two-player play, and that also made a change to how player death was handled. In the Gradius Nemesis games, when you died, you always went back to a checkpoint. Here, you pretty much continue where you left off. That being said, the Commodore 64 version doesn't have the two-player option, and I can understand why. This really pushes the hardware quite well, and there are little bits of slowdown here and there, but not enough to completely ruin the game. I think it probably would get unplayable fast in two-player. It does also have two levels missing. Now, I haven't played the arcade version, so I don't know which ones they are by comparison. So I don't know how much of a problem that is, but that might be something to turn you off the conversion. I think it's done really to save space because the game, sits on the single side of a disc. Maybe making the game take multiple discs wasn't worth it. So now into these first stages, multiple sections. Now sort of into the final section, you can sort of see the general organic style. In this case, this level is also a little interesting for these little pathways you need to blast through. And it generally really handles itself pretty well. I mean, good arc with a good joystick. Using the gamepad, obviously, you get a very precise responsive controls. I never feel like I'm fighting the game, which is usually what makes a good shooter. There we go, I'm doing much better on this run. This is the sort of final part of the stage before we hit the first boss. And of course, you get the same sort of thing. Like in any other shooter, nice sort of complex enemy. And it's the only really part of the game where the sort of persistent slowdown, like the game coming to these bosses, you can sort of see the frame rate drop pretty bit. First stage done. And that's it. Well, in this case, it was the eye is what you needed to blast it. Now it's done, and we load the next stage. One of the big changes in Salamander over the Gradius games is the alternating vertical and horizontal stages. So now we've completed a horizontal stage, we're going to vertical. Having seen footage of the arcade game, it's a lot more It's a lot more impressive when the player's playing ship rotates and it starts scrolling up. Here we don't get that with the multi-load, but pretty much you get these things. And this actually, it's funny where the change in ratio sort of makes the game a little harder, but when I was playing earlier, this is a take 2, I found that things behave a little differently, so classic mileage might vary kind of scenario. Oh, nice to still have my shield. Oh, now it's fairly weakened. Oh no, I lost my options. Oh, that's game over, sadly. So how does that? I mean, that's, it's a general shooter. It's very slick. It's quite a good challenge. According to some comments from what I heard back in the day, this was actually easier than the original machine. And again, I put it down to not playing with the right kind of control setup, but it was definitely good enough challenge. It's definitely very smooth, very well polished. It's a game I really do recommend if you're a shooter fan and a C64 fan. I mean, there are other conversions that are better. The collector's packs that were released in Japan on various 32-bit consoles, as well as the PC Engine TurboGrafx version. But I've put a lot of time into this version as a kid, and I really do recommend it. So let's go in for another play. I'll try not to talk as much over this, and so hopefully I'll do a bit better and we can see stage 3. Ah, excellent. So I managed to get the Ripple Laser, which, as you see in some of the later Gradius games, kind of like a little nicer for clearing the path. I found the way that those growths come out of the level, it sort of dynamic changes to make the level a little more challenging. Has a little bit of slowdown. Not much, but it's always there. I mean, something else is just the whole power-up system. I actually kind of prefer this system over the Gradius system, primarily because you're playing on a machine like C64 where you've only got joysticks with a single fire button. It usually becomes inconvenient to have to hit the keyboard to switch weapons, or to do some joystick shaking the joystick or something to activate. Whereas by having power-ups be direct, it feels a little easier to play. Of course, that's a personal preference, and your mileage might vary on that front. let's see if we go up to the first. This is the first boss. The idea is pretty simple. Move, fly around. Get as much shots into that eye at the front of the brain before the claw arm thing gets in your eye. And now he's gone. So let's get on to level 2. Now we're up to the last part of the stage, just these sort of, I guess, drones, if you will. Blast them away, and we're going to finally see the second round boss. So this one, much like in classic race traditions, the just basically shoot the core, which is designated by those 3 little boxes in the lower center before actually blasting the core itself open. And just, yeah, nice sort of circular approach to avoid the rotors. Now, with the boss destroyed, we're on to level 3. One thing that was, tip when you fight, you can hear that sort of little bleep as you're doing damage. There wasn't any such occurrence with the first stage, so it's actually a little bit of a gameplay improvement there, when you can actually know that you're successfully doing damage, in addition to seeing the little core blocks disappear. So now we're on to the third stage, which is now a horizontal stage. This stage I really do like the fire patterns on this stage. And we just lost our first life by being a little careless. What he has on this stage is actually making sure that you avoid these flames that come out of the ground. The objective is to really just make sure you don't to really just be prepared for the way they alternate up and down. That was close. I don't remember the boss. When I played these games a lot as a kid, I can't remember the boss. Maybe I'll remember when it appears on screen. But right now, I'm just trying to remember what it is, what the trick is. So you may not see much past that. Not having any power-ups is not helping. other than this option. I think we're coming up now. Did we not see? Yeah. Ah, that's right. Just blast the head. So one thing that always impressed with this conversion is just, you know, not much sprite flicker. Like they went for like little bits of slow down over flicker, and honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I think the conversion is one of the best arcade conversions on the C64 in terms of just overall looks and overall playability. And here's the third boss destroyed, and now we're on to the last stage. Who knows? I don't want to jinx it if I actually do beat this. That'll actually be kind of impressive. Yes, got the shield. Got to speed up. A three-way. I really do like the background patterns here. At least this first part of the stage. So it turns into a bit of a city. I guess not really a city. Sort of reminiscent of the core boss from level 2. Excellent. Oh, that's right. Number of them in turn. Feels... interesting. As you can see, how the new attack there. There's something about this to me that feels like it breaks the flow a bit. I do like that his pattern has changed a bit. It's not just left to right constantly like the first boss was. Oh, now we're really pushing the poor C64 here. And sadly I didn't finish. So that's Salamander on the C64. It's one of my favourite conversions on the machine, and a rather great shooter in general if you're a fan of the genre. Definitely check it out, or check it out on another platform if you haven't played it already. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Like, subscribe if you're interested in some of this stuff and maybe some other bits that I'm working on. And I look forward to bringing some other retro gaming goodness in the near future. Thanks.